Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for this look, I did create it using all affordable and drugstore products. So the majority of these products are available in drugstores or pharmacies, so you can go straight in there and purchase them. But some of the products are say from Colourpop, which is an online store, which is still super affordable. So every time that I do a drugstore look, I use the LA Girl Brow Pomade, and I'm using shade Dark Brown today. And I'm just using an angled brush to do my brows. Okay, so I usually start off on the top just to map out the arch and the shape. So I just purchased the Morphe brow gel recently. So brow gel is going to make your brow hairs look more natural and just bring your natural hairs back to life, since there is a ton of product there. So to carve out my brows and prep the lid, I'm using the Maybelline Adria. This is in shade Light. Okay, so my brows are carved out, and what I like to do is get the leftover concealer on the brush and just tap the inside, and that's going to make them look a little bit more ombre. Can you guys see how it's picked up the pomade, and now it just looks a little more natural. Brows are on, so I zoomed you guys in super up close for the eyes. So today for eyeshadow, I have these two palettes from Colourpop. So to start off, I'm going in with this shade here called Fancy Fancy and this shade here called Screw It. I'm going to mix them together and pop that in my crease. So I'm going to deepen up the crease a little bit. I'm going to go in with this shade here called Trooper, and I'm using a more thin brush just because I really want to pinpoint that right in the crease. Okay, so both palettes have a black. This looks like it's literally just a matte black. So I'm going to pack that on the outer corner, and then I'm going to cut my crease just so we have a little bit of a base down. So I'm going to make this look a half cut crease, so we're just going to do halfway across and blend it out. So I'm going to go in with the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in shade 6. So this is the lightest one that I have. So to set the lid area, I want a little bit more of a white shade. So the two palettes that I have cream, but the James Charles and Morphe palette has a nice white. So I'm just going to pack that on to set the lid area. It's not that pigmented, but there's a cream shade here in the Colourpop palette, so we'll see how that... Okay, that sets a lot better. It's just not as bright. So I'm going to go in with this brown and just blend in the outer corner. And then I'm just dabbing back over that black just to intensify it a little bit more. I'm going to go in with this shade here called 24K, and I'm going to add that on my inner corner. I'm just going to spray a little bit of the Morphe setting spray on the brush to pick up a little bit more of that. And I'm just going to add a touch, whatever's left over on the brush. Whoa, that is pigmented. Okay, so for eyeliner, of all of the eyeliners that I've tried, the only one that performs super matte and super black is the NYX Matte liquid liner, and that's what it looks like. It's exactly the same as the NYX black liner. That is like really hard to get now. I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. I still don't know the real tea on that, but I'm pretty sure that you can't get it anymore. I've tried a lot of drugstore ones, and this is the best one. So instead of doing a full-on wing, I'm just going to base my lash line and line it, and then I'm going to blend out the corner with black shadow. So I've just done the wing, got into the end, and then I'm going to blend this in so it's a little bit more of like a rounded off wing. Well, it's not really a wing, but rounded off edge. So for mascara, this is not a new mascara, this is pretty old, but it's from the brand Essence and it is the Forbidden Volume in black. So you guys obviously know my brand Gemma Isabella Cosmetics, and you know that we have lashes. So our lashes are super affordable, so I will use them today because they are definitely the most affordable Mink lashes you can get. So today I'm going to wear the shade Good Girl. So I trimmed just a little bit off the lashes, not too much with this particular style. So while the lashes are drying, I'm going to prep my skin for foundation. So I have been loving this, both drugstore and non-drugstore, or affordable and non-affordable. The fourth ray, which is just Colourpop Watermelon Face Milk. So this is just my favorite moisturizing product for before makeup because it's super light and thin and it just blends out nicely into the skin. And sometimes with moisturizers it creates like a thick layer, but this is just nice and subtle. Okay, so the eyes are done. I have my moisturizer on, so my skin is nice and hydrated. For primer, I'm using the Revolution Pro Hydra Matte Primer. So I have used this before. It is like a hydrating primer, but it's mattifying. So sometimes moisturizer can make your skin a little bit too shiny. So it's nice to have a mattifying primer just to soak up any oils. So I'm just going to really work this onto anywhere that you're most likely to get shiny. I don't really get shiny very often, but sometimes when you do have a lot of foundation on, it can start to look a little bit oily. So this does help. So I have tried a lot of drugstore foundations that have worked really well for me. I've tried the LA Girl Matte Pro Matte. I have tried the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. I've tried the NYX Total Control. These are all great foundations and have worked really well for me. But if I have to pick one holy grail foundation, if you've been here for a while, you already know it's the Milani Conceal in Perfect 2-in-1. So I mix shade 5 and 6. I'm not all the way tanned, like I have been tanning a little bit. I don't have any fake tan on. That's what 5 looks like. The pump is not working for some reason, so I'm just gonna put it on my face and blend it in that way. I don't usually do my foundation like this, but I kind of don't have a choice right now. For concealer, I'm using the Revolution Conceal and Define in shade C7. So this is the shade darker than what I use to prep my lids. I always like to bring my concealer up the sides of my nose. So are you guys ready for a throwback? I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD. I actually used this, was it my last video? I think it was in my last video, the Bean Boozled challenge. I had a line that wasn't blended on my chin and I had used this, but it was one of my older ones. So I didn't notice when I was doing my makeup that it didn't blend out, because usually when I put a cream, I just quickly blend it and keep going, and it was a super quick makeup look. But then when I went to edit, I saw the line was still there, so I just opened up a new one. I have so many of these lying around. So it should come out super easy and super wet. So if it's like really dry and stiff, it's out of date, so don't use it, because that's the mistake I just made. So I'm going to leave my concealer so it thickens up a bit and that gives you more coverage. And I like laid my edges here, so it's going to be a little bit hard to do this without interfering with that. But I always contour my forehead, cheekbones and nose, and I might leave out the jaw just because, I mean the cream contour for the jaw, because of what happened to me the other day. I'm just going to grab a smaller angled brush for the lips and the nose. So before I bake under my eyes, I'm going to lightly set it with banana powder. This palette is super old. It's the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contour Palette. So I'm using this just to brighten up the under eye and lightly set it. This is going to stop the baking powder from pulling away your coverage, and it's just going to lightly set it, and then baking it will lock everything in. So to bake under my eyes, I'm using the Maybelline FitMe in shade number 10. So these are not translucent, these are shaded powders. So you do want to make sure you're getting something lighter than your skin tone so it does brighten. Even though it appears translucent, it isn't. So these are going to add a little bit of color and coverage as opposed to just setting. So I'm just pressing in whatever is left over on the sponge, and I'm moving it around my face, and that's how I'm setting it. So for my under eye, I'm going to go in with the brown shade from the Goodies Gold Colourpop palette. It's called Diggin' You. So I think I'm going to skip the black in the waterline, and I'm actually going to just put my lip liner. So this is Morphe Sweet Tea. It's just like a soft brown. So I think I'm just going to add a little bit of that in the waterline just to tie in all of the brown. And then I'm just going to dust off the powder. So right now my face does feel pretty dry, so I'm just going to add a little bit of my setting spray. If you already have your lashes on and you don't want to get your lashes wet, so a trick is to spray the setting spray on your sponge so you don't get your lashes wet if you've already got them on. And you guys have heard this trick from me before, but if you're new here and you haven't, it is the best way to do your setting spray when you've already done your eyes. And then I'm just using the same mascara for my bottom lashes. So to powder contour, I'm using the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. So this palette has 4 bronzer shades, but this one right here is a perfect dupe for the Benefit Hoola bronzer. So if you're a Hoola girl, I think literally buying this whole palette will be cheaper than buying the Hoola. And it's got some really cool brightening powders too. So these two under the eyes really give that brightening effect. So I don't know where this brush is from. If you guys know, comment down below. But I really like this to contour my nose. I do have one like this from Morphe, but I don't know where it is right now. So I just like it because I can draw the lines on the side of my nose and then I just blend them out. I find this gives me a nicer, more snatched contour than just going in with a fluffy brush. On a daily basis, I will just go in with a fluffy brush and run it along the sides of my nose. And then I'm blending it out with the Morphe and Jaclyn JH08 brush. So I received this palette from BH Cosmetics a few months ago. It's the Glowing in Grease 6 color blush and highlight palette. So this is what the palette looks like. It is such a good all-round palette. It's got the blush and highlight shades you'll need. So I really would only use this highlight, but I would use literally all of the blushes. So I'm going in with the gold highlight shade called Olympia. Look at that. So for lip liner, I'm using Morphe Sweet Tea. This is like my favorite, both drugstore and not drugstore all-round lip liner. They are $4 Australian each, so they're probably even cheaper in other parts of the world. And my god, these are such good lip pencils. So I am going to go in with Sweet Tea. lipstick, I found this Colourpop lipstick in my drawer. It's a Velvet Blur formula and the colour is called Bloom to Boom. So I don't know if this is going to be too deep for me because I don't usually wear deeper nudes, but we'll give it a shot. Okay guys, so this is today's look complete. So all of the products that I used in today's video will be listed and linked down below. So if you want to check out any of the products I used, you can just click on the links below and check them out. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you all so much and I will see you guys next time. Bye!